This is another video brought to you by the Ichiban Productions. Like, comment, subscribe. So welcome everyone, happy days are here again. We're back and we got another tech review. This time we're looking at the brand new Apple TV 4K. Before we jump into it, I have to show you the most awesome thing that my friend made for me. You know, the friend that's been in the previous videos, the movie memorabilia stuff. Check out what he made for me this week. Oh yes, can of Coke if you can recognise what these are. They're of course the Doom key cards, the red, the blue and the yellow, getting into those secret areas to complete the level. It's absolutely awesome. It's got the little tag on and everything. The QR code actually works. Nice little prop if you're looking for something. So as always, if you're looking for movie memorabilia or little props or little gimmicks, check out his website and his Etsy below. And you know what it is, you get a special treat for being part of the Ichiban collective. So if you want a cheeky 20% off, use that discount code Ichiban, which should be appearing somewhere on the screen. Use the discount code Ichiban for 20% off. Grab yourself a little bargain. As I'm sure some of you are aware, the brand new Apple TV 4K and HD has recently been released, and I personally couldn't help. I had to have one straight away. I love my Apple TV, and I couldn't wait for an upgrade. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, oh, it's overpriced, it's a better streaming box anyway. Well, if you don't like Apple TV, I don't know why you clicked this video, but if you are interested in the Apple TV and want to know, is it worth the money, in my opinion, or even more importantly, is it worth the upgrade? Well, let's stick around and let's find out. Going back to fundamentals for those of you that might need it, this is Apple's streaming box. Now there's been several versions of this previously, several generations before, and it's all culminated to what we have now. So what fundamentally is it? You plug it into your TV and it'll turn a TV into a smart TV, but really what it does is it plugs you into the Apple ecosystem. So if you're already invested in Apple, this is probably going to be a nice addition to your household. Fundamentally, let's break it down. It's got the Apple TV features, and when I say Apple TV, I don't mean the actual physical Apple TV. I mean the Apple TV app as it appears on certain things now. So it means you can access the iTunes movies, TV series. You can access Apple Music on here, as well as the traditional streaming apps such as Netflix, Now TV, the WWE Network, as well as also play a variety of games. So if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you might have, you know, Apple Arcade, shall we say, and you can play all of those Apple Arcade games on here, and you can connect a Bluetooth controller to it and it becomes a little games console. They really are building it up. They haven't put a huge amount of time and effort, in my opinion, into this. They've just clamped a load of cool things together and it's become quite a functional device. Now I use my old Apple TV 4K on a daily basis. You know, I get my AirPods in, watch a bit of movies or some Netflix at night, not to disturb the missus when she's asleep. But here we go, we've got an upgraded version. I'm super pumped. So I guess the first thing you want to know is, what is the upgrade from the old version? One of the biggest upgrades straight away is the Apple TV remote. So this is the old one, it's made of glass, there's a touchscreen at the top, whereas this one has obviously got its dedicated buttons, a scroll bar here. So it works a bit like that, but you've got dedicated buttons as well, but they do also work if you slide. Dedicated power buttons, series on the side instead of being at the front. It's just meant to be a huge, massive upgrade. It's also meant to have a higher battery power, so you'd have to charge it ever so slightly less. There is also an improved processor inside the Apple TV, so it's meant to be faster. I guess if you're just watching streaming things and TV and movies, you're not going to notice a difference. However, if you do a bit of gaming on it, apparently you will see an improvement. You know, I'll have to give it a go and let you know what I think. It's also got Thread support, so if you don't know what Thread is, it's a smart home standard that's coming in. You know, if you've got HomeKit activated devices, you know, Thread is going to become a standard for that. It basically gives you better connection signal. That's really badly said, but it's meant to give you better signal from further away, which is definitely a good thing. The other big thing it's promoting with the new processor is it's able to do a 4K 60 frames per second video. So normally you're getting 4K at 30 frames per second or 4K at 24 frames per second, as is the video standard, but there is going to be some 4K 60 frames per second action on there. YouTube, I've already seen a few videos, but I've not experienced it myself, so I'll have to give it a go and see, can I see the difference? Is it worth upgrading for that? Last but not least, a couple of extra features we've got. This one supports Wi-Fi 6, which is a new Wi-Fi standard, which of course gives bigger range, which should help improve speed and things like that with the Wi-Fi around the house. But to use the Wi-Fi 6, you're going to need a Wi-Fi 6 router. And of course, it's got a HDMI 2.1 port, which means that you can use the higher bandwidth cables with this. Now, I don't know whether you need a fancy new TV to be able to get their HDR high frame rate to work, because it should be 4K at 60 frames per second, which most HD TVs should be able to support. Anyway, I'm going to try it all out, give it a go, and let you know my thoughts. Just to clarify, on my last bit of the video I said HD TV should be able to support 4K 60 frames per second. I obviously meant a 4K TV, you know what I meant. Anyway, let's take a look at the box before we crack it open. So, I love the way Apple products are packaged, it always feels so premium. On the front, we got the glorious Apple TV itself, and it's slightly raised, so when you rub your hands over it, you can actually feel the indents of the buttons and things. It's just a nice little feature. On the side, we got nothing. On the bottom, we got ourselves serial number and stuff like that. Gonna blur that so you can't enjoy it. But it is a 4K HDR. I went for the 32 gig because there's no way I'm gonna feel 32 gig. I've not managed on my old one, so no reason why I should do it on this one. Nothing on the other side, and on the back we got some of the things to promote. So it's immersive Dolby Atmos sound, ultimate cinematic experience. There is all the apps I was talking about. AirPlay, so you can stream from your phones, automatically connects to AirPods and things like that, which is seamless. I do love that. That's a nice little feature. And wireless surround sound with the HomePods. I personally have 2 HomePods set up in the bedroom where I'm intending to use this. Well, I'm going to upgrade my old one to this one. But one of the big features, oh yes, I forgot to mention, is apparently this has got return ARC on it, so that's audio return channel. So in theory, what you should be able to do on the new Apple TV, right? Now bear with me, this might sound complex, but this is one of the features I completely forgot about that I'm super pumped for. So apparently what you can do, right, is previously, if you had your HomePod set up, you could only get the audio from an Apple TV to those HomePods. So if you're watching something on TV, you got Sky on, or you're playing your Xbox or stuff, you couldn't get the sound from your TV or your Xbox or Sky or whatever to your HomePods. Now what apparently you can do is you can use ARC return channel, right, to send the audio from your TV to your Apple TV to the HomePods. So in theory, you should be able to, you know, watch Sky with the HomePods pumping out the sound and playing your Xbox, you know, through the TV, pumping the sound back through this to the HomePods. So I'm super pumped about that, because that will make a hell of a difference to the, you know, the bedroom TV experience. So I'm gonna have to give it a go, and I'll let you know whether it works or not. Boom, cheeky cut. So I've taken off the cellophane so we can get into this bad boy more easily and take a look what's going on. So step 1, let's open the box. I always love the Apple packaging, I always feel it's so premium. So here we go. Glorious. And there we are. We're met with the Apple TV and the remote. Ooh, nice. I got to dive right in. Let's take a look at the Apple TV itself. So here we go. Ooh, so it's got a bit of plastic on the bottom here, and it's covering up the goodness. It's got the Apple TV on top, a little bit of a black tape around it. So let's remove the black tape and see what it looks like. Oh, here we go. The fingerprint magnet will be revealed. Ooh, nice. Move that. Excellent. So looking at that there, we've got the usual plug, the HDMI, and of course the Ethernet out. Now that, my friends, is almost identical to what we've got at the moment. So this is the old Apple TV, this is the new Apple TV. So from looking at it, it looks absolutely identical. Now the top, yeah, looks absolutely the same all the way around, looks almost identical. My goodness, if I take the bottom off, I mean, am I going to be able to tell the difference between the two? Probably not. I mean, that's literally unbelievable. So they look absolutely identical. So that's the Apple TV first 4K first generation. This is the second generation. I better not mix them up. I'm just gonna have to assume that the first generation is the grubby one. So I'm gonna put that to one side, put that one down, and let's explore what else is inside. So I couldn't believe they're absolutely identical. I couldn't accept that. So I just had a closer look at both of them. And on very fine print, if you angle the bottom absolutely right in the light, you can see that it has a slightly different model number. So you can tell the difference, but it's not something obvious. It doesn't say 4K second gen or nothing like that. It's the usual A something 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 something. So you can tell the difference. It's just frustrating it's not more obvious, I would say. Let's take a look at that remote next. Now you can buy this remote separately, so if you've got the old Apple TV and you don't want to fork out for the new one, you can get one of these. The price for this was about $169 all in, which is actually £10 cheaper than the old version. But you can buy the new remote, I think for £70, or there's more weight to it straight away. that one, you know, the new one is significantly heavier, but it's also quite a bit thicker. So let's take off the protective seal. This is always sad to do, but it's nice to have it on film. So rip, nice. You know what, this does feel nicer in the hand. So there we go from the back, there we go from the front, and from the sides. So you can see there is a size difference, both height and width. Nice. There is a bit more weight to this, definitely. I don't think it comes across very well, but that's actually curved on the back, so it feels a little bit nicer in your hands. I do feel it feels a lot more like the new iPhones, the 12 Pros and whatever, because they do have the sharper edges, which feels really nice. So feeling the buttons, yeah, nice click to that. Much more definite click. I don't know about you, but the click on this one annoys me after a while. This one feels much better. Button presses, back button. So the menu button is replaced with the back button. You still got the TV button. Play pause is down there. Mute, which is a new addition button, which is good. Volume up, volume down. Yeah, they feel more substantial in terms of how they feel on the buttons. And then we've got the Siri remote on the side, microphone at the top, and the IR blaster. So the big difference between these, obviously, other than the buttons and things like that, is this had gyroscope in. Gyroscope, you know what I mean. So if you're playing a game, you could wiggle it, you know, like the Wii used to be. This one doesn't. So if you miss that, you know, upgrading is going to disappoint you. But I personally never used the gyroscope inside here. So this one is a nice update. It's pretty good. Still a lightning cable on the bottom. However, what's quite nice here is, I presume if you got the screws to undo this, you could take it out and replace the battery. Whereas this one, I suppose, if you want to get into this, you need to smash it to pieces. So, yeah, and Apple may be considering home repair. I mean, dare I say that. But, yeah, I like that. That's a nice little addition. Very, very, very nice. Question is, what else we got left in here? So, I think this is going to be the information. Oh, dear. So yeah, traditional Apple stuff. Have we got Apple stickers? Yeah, we have got Apple stickers. That's pretty cool. You don't always get those anymore. So let's have a quick look. Here we go. It's supposed to be a quick start guide. Here we go. Power, Ethernet, turn on your TV. Oh, noise, power, all that. Great. We've got ourselves a lightning cable, which is always a treat, although I would have preferred USB-C because then we could charge as we go. But obviously, you know, we need to charge that remote, which is something we need to do. And last but not least, we've got ourselves the power cable, which is all tucked away in here. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so it's going to be a standard 3-pin adapter. Yeah, pretty good. Also quite like how thin they've gone with the plug. It's a lot like the old Apple TV 4K. So let's peel that off, and there we go. You get good length on it, nothing to write home about, but there we go. I'm going to do a cheeky cut, tidy up, and then I'm going to give you my initial thoughts. Boom, and I'm back. So initial thoughts, I'm very disappointed that the actual box of the Apple TV is identical to the other one. I was looking for something slightly different to get it to stand out, because ultimately if it's on the side, you know, in your TV cabinet, and it looks exactly like it was before, no one's going to know it's different. It's kind of like these people who go out, you know, and buy exactly the same car and exactly the same colour. You know, what's the point? What is the point? However, that remote, chef kiss, is awesome. What a massive upgrade it already feels like in my hands. Really, I can't say much else other than I need to plug it in, I need to use it. I'm going to come back to you, give you my final thoughts. Is it worth the money and is it worth the upgrade? So stick around and you'll find out. And I'm back. Like I said, I'll be back. I feel like I am ready to give you my final thoughts on the Apple TV 4K 2nd gen version, and I am very, very impressed. I've already covered the differences from the old one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into 3 key points of the things that I thought were awesome, 2 things that blew me away, and 1 thing that I'm trying to get used to. So the first thing that absolutely blew me away was the HDR 60 frames per second 4K. Now, I know the content is quite hard to come by, but however, the YouTube app on the Apple TV has been updated, or it might have done it previously, but it said it wasn't showing, to show 4K 60 frames per second HDR content. I watched, it was a short video clip, I think it was Gemini with Will Smith, and it was in 60 frames per second, and my goodness, it was a game changer. I mean, I know the difference between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second on gaming is huge, but in terms of video footage, it was unbelievable. You could see the finer details of the picture. Like, you can see Will Smith straight up. I mean, I'm talking about the hairs on his hand. That level of detail was absolutely unbelievable. It looks so realistic. I genuinely think if we go to 60 frames per second for 4K movies in general, it's going to be an absolute game changer. And I wish kind of they'd done that before, you know, the UHDs came out, you know, the Ultra HD DVDs, Blu-rays, you know, the things selling in the shop for inordinate prices. I think if 4K had released at 60 frames per second, everybody would see the difference and be absolutely blown away. It would be a step up from like SD to HD. I mean, people say, you know, the HD step up to 4K hasn't been massive, and I do kind of see that, but I think the step up from HD to 4K 60 frames per second video footage is literally unbelievable. That will blow people away. Now, all we need is more content. I mean, if you're looking for the absolute best picture quality you could possibly get, that has got to be the future, and that is why that is a massive plus. The second game changer for me is the eARC audio return feature on that enables you to watch your TV content or anything playing on your TV through your Apple TV through a pair of HomePods. Now I must make it clear it doesn't work for the HomePod minis, it's got to be a pair of HomePods. And my goodness, the difference it makes is unbelievable. I don't know about you and, you know, your bedroom. You're not likely to have a 5.1 Dolby Atmos setup in your bedroom. However, you might have a pair of HomePods like I do. They're just on the bedside cabinets. My goodness, the difference it makes is unbelievable. So how would you do it? Basically, you need to make sure that your Apple TV is in the same room in your home app. Yeah, it's going to be in the same room as your HomePods. They connect together as a stereo pair to this, so the default output audio for your Apple TV has got to be your pair of HomePods. Then you go to the audio settings, enable eARC return audio. That's got a little beta symbol next to it, but it works perfectly fine for me. Then what you have to do is you have to go to your TV and enable it. My Apple TV automatically enabled it on my TV. However, I have read online some people have had problems with this working. Now, to get it to work, you've got to make sure that the HDMI cable that's coming from your Apple TV is going into your TV. But if you look on the back of your TV, all your HDMI ports should be labelled. One of them should be labelled eARC. So you've got to make sure the one that's labelled eARC is going into your Apple TV. And then boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You just turn on the TV. Then all of a sudden, like magic, like Harry Potter's come along and he's got it working. The audio from the TV or whatever you're watching on the TV comes through your HomePod speakers, and it is unbelievable. That for me is worth the price admission. It makes the HomePods so much more useful, so much more amazing. Yeah, massive tick for that. Just watching that clip back, I just want to clarify one thing, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be eARC, it can just be ARC, audio return channel. So some TVs have eARC, some people have just ARC. It works for me. My TV, it says ARC on it. So yeah, it works absolutely fine. It's worth every penny. So that's the two massive pluses. What about the thing I'm getting used to? And unfortunately for me, the thing I'm getting used to is the remote. Now, I love the dimensions of the remote and the makeup of the remote. However, I sort of trained my hand that when I wanted to skip forward 15 seconds in a YouTube video you used to click the glass, the corner up here, and it's used to just flick on 15 seconds, and then you click that, it goes back 15 seconds, and it's just an automatic sort of thing without having to go to the time line on the bottom to move back and forth. That kind of works here because that little button in the middle, that acts as a trackpad as well. So if you get it just right, just on the corner, it will skip forward 15 seconds. But it's really hard because you end up bashing these buttons as well. So for me, fundamentally, what's the thing I've got to learn to take away from this? I'm going to have to relearn to use this to get it to work. I mean, I know how a remote works, you know. You don't need to lie into me in the comments as the itchy band. I know how to use a remote. I do know how to use a remote. But to get it to use the functions and features that I had got so used to on the old remote, I'm going to have to do a bit of training on that. Something I do really like, boom, the mute button, quits. Cuts it straight off, love it. And then the power button. Now, what I also like about this, I don't know about your TV remotes, is sometimes if you accidentally press the power button, boom, it all goes off. You know, you're just like, oh no, I pressed it by mistake. Apple have thought about this, which is really cool. So you actually have to press and hold that for a couple of seconds for it to actually activate and register. So no turning your Apple TV off mistake. Good idea, Apple. Big old thumbs up. Last thing I want to talk about is the upgrade process. So if you're going from the old 4K to the new 4K, so as long as you've got the more recent Apple TV, what this lovely little treat does, well, the old Apple TV's made a backup on your iCloud account. So when you load this up, all you do is you bring your phone closer to it, and you click continue, and basically automatically sets it up for you using your Apple ID, which is awesome. And then what it does is it asks you, do you want to recover your old previous Apple TV apps and setup and all that sort of stuff and settings? And okay, yes. And then what it does, it automatically downloads from iCloud all the old apps you had in your old Apple TV, downloads them for you automatically. The only bad thing is you've got to actually log back into all your apps. I mean, that's annoying, but at least you don't have to manually select everything. What I also like about it is it can mirror your home screen. So for me, me, this Apple TV's gone in the bedroom, the old Apple TV 4K's gone in the living room, and I downloaded a new app on this, and it automatically downloaded it on the other one downstairs, so it keeps it in sync together, which I absolutely love. For me, the upgrade process was seamless. You got nothing to worry about if you think about updating or upgrading. You're not going to have to faff about and mess about because it all does it for you. Apple are clever like that. It takes the hard work out of it just for you. So the last thing to do is put a star rating on it. So what I'm going to do is give this a caveat to start with, and that is, to get the most out of this, you've got to be in the Apple ecosystem already. If you're not in the Apple ecosystem, there's no point buying this. You're better off going something different. You know, I hear people talk about Roku and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're not in the Apple ecosystem, this is definitely not for you. This will be really expensive to not get all the features out of it if you're not already using the Apple devices. However, if you're already in the Apple ecosystem, what star rating am I give it? I'm going to give it about 5 stars out of 5 stars. And for me, it's an easy 5-star. The eARC and the ARC return audio to get those HomePods working is worth every single penny. The 4K HDR 60 frames per second. Mwah, beautiful. Honestly, it's breathtaking. I think when you go into shops like Curry's and you look at 4K TVs and stuff, they are definitely showing 4K 60 frames per second HDR footage because it is so crisp, it's so amazing. It blows you away. If you're able to experience it at some point, make sure you do. It will change the way you look at videos moving forward. I know some of you will still be conscious of the price. At a whopping £169, it is quite expensive. However, what I will say is it's £10 cheaper than the old version for the same memory storage. So for 32 gigs on the old one, it was £179, and this is £169, so it's actually technically cheaper. So it's still a lot more money. You know, I know people are thinking, but oh, get the Apple app on my TV. It's more than that. You know, watch the review, take away from it what you will. For me, I think it's good value for money for what it provides me and being in the Apple ecosystem. Just to finish off, is it worth an upgrade from an old 4K to a new 4K? Well, it is only worth it for 2 things. One, if you're interested in the HDR 60 frames per second video footage, then yes, it is worth the upgrade. And if you've got 2 HomePods that are set up to your Apple TV and you want the eARC return, you want the audio from your TV to come out your HomePods, yes, it is absolutely worth it. If you're not interested in that and you've not got 2 HomePods set up in a stereo pair and you've got no interest in that, and you're not overly fussed about the 60 frames per second HDR 4K, then nah, it's not worth the upgrade. Is it worth upgrading the remote? Me personally, I don't think it's worth the price of admission. It's like £70 just to replace the remote. I wouldn't bother. For me, I've not got used to this yet. I do miss the old remote. It has crossed my mind to bring the old remote to this one, but I'm going to try and stick this one out for the best I can. But certainly for 70 quid, I don't think it's worth it. If you're going to pay 70 quid for this remote, I reckon you're best chucking in the extra ton and getting the Apple TV as well. So them's my opinions. I wonder what you think of it. If you've got any questions and comments, please post them in the comment section below. I always reply to each and every comment, and I would love to know what you think about the Apple TV 4K. If you enjoyed the video, give it a cheeky thumbs up. The more thumbs up, the more people will see my videos, the more people that can enjoy my content. And most importantly, if you've enjoyed the video, please press that subscribe button. Each and every subscriber means the absolute world to me. I'm doing this for a laugh to help people make consumer-led decisions. If you don't like reading those reviews online of the big conglomerates that are making the moolah to review the stuff, for me, I buy all the products I review, so they're not sent to me for free. So please, press that subscribe button. Join the Ichiban army, and it'll mean the absolute world to me. And you know what I'm going to say. Look after yourselves, take care of the people around you, and most importantly, stay out of trouble.